We are going to get started. Hi, everybody. I just wanted everybody to know we are YouTube live, so if you don't want to be on camera, you won't want to be up front, so you might want to keep the little ones out from this area just until the awards are presented, and then we'll turn it off, okay? This is just so people that are at home and couldn't come tonight, they can still participate, and then other facilities sometimes watch as well. So here we go. I have a poem that I want to read, and it's very applicable to the clientele that we take care of here. So what I'm going to do is read that first, and then we'll get started. It's called See Me. What do you see, nurses? What do you see? Are you thinking when you look at me? A crabby old woman, not very wise, uncertain of habit with faraway eyes, who dribbles her food and makes no reply when you say in a loud voice, I do wish you'd try. Who seems not to notice the things that you do, and forever is losing a stocking or shoe. Who, resisting or not, lets you do as you will, with bathing and feeding the long day to fill. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you see? Then open your eyes, nurse. You're looking at me. I'll tell you who I am as I sit here so still, as I rise at your bidding, as I eat at your will. I'm a small child of 10 with a father and mother, brothers and sisters who love one another, a young girl of 16 with wings on her feet, dreaming that soon now a lover she'll meet. A bride soon at 20, my heart gives a leap, remembering the vows that I promised to keep. At 25 now, I have young of my own who need me to build a secure, happy home. A woman of 30, my young now grow fast, bound to each other with ties that should last. At 40, my young sons have grown and are gone, but my man's beside me to see I don't mourn. At 50, once more, babies play round my knee. Again, we know children, my loved one and me. Dark days are upon me, my husband is dead. I look at the future, I shudder with dread. For my young are all rearing young of their own, and I think of the years and the love that I've known. I'm an old woman now, and nature is cruel. 'Tis her jest to make old age look like a fool. The body is crumbled, grace and vigor depart. There's now a stone where once I had a heart. But inside this old carcass, a young girl still dwells, and now and again, my battered heart swells. I remember the joys, I remember the pain, and I'm loving and living life over again. I think of the years, all too few, gone too fast, and accept the stark fact that nothing can last. So I open your eyes, nurses, open and see. Not a crabby old woman, look closer, nurses. See me. So that poem was found among the possessions of an elderly lady who died in the geriatric ward of a hospital a long time ago. No information is available concerning her, who she was, or when she died, and it's been reprinted from the Assessment and Alternatives Health Guide prepared by the Colorado Foundation for Medical Care. It's a really, really popular poem. I think probably if any of you work in healthcare and geriatrics, you've probably heard it before. Okay, so we're going to begin. I want to take a moment to welcome you to our Nursing Assistant Program graduation ceremony for the NA students from Avamere Court in Kaiser here. My name is Misty Gordon. I'm an Oregon State Board of Nursing approved primary instructor here representing Avamere Court's 8th Nursing Assistant graduation class, or graduating class. We are one of the very few free community-based nursing assistant programs here in Salem-Kaiser. And we are proud to say we are on track to helping produce nearly 60 new certified nursing assistants each calendar year. So my story as a CNA began in 2001, where I began as a student technician at a large teaching hospital on the East Coast. It was an amazing experience, and this is where I learned to love nursing, to identify with patients as people, not as a room number or a diagnosis. I can attribute my work ethic and values to not only my father, who passed just weeks after I received my registered nursing credentials, to my mother and our shared personality characteristics, but also to my nurse manager at that hospital. She worked with her staff on a more personal level than I had ever experienced. I attribute my ability to have attended nursing school to her dedication to ensuring my full-time status remained intact while I attended school, allowing me to work in my hours however I needed. Her name is Rhonda Flynn, and she still is hands down the best nurse manager I've ever met. A special thank you goes to my sister and brother-in-law. I was newly divorced and raising 3 young boys just above the poverty income level. My financial aid had run out and I could not afford to attend school for my last 2 semesters. My family pulled together and made certain I graduated. And last but not least, I met and fell in love with someone who loved me through the ups and downs of work, classes, late night papers and clinical worksheets, disgusting diagnoses, and all the Facebook memes. I'm sure he was tempted to run, but he hasn't yet. My point is, I absolutely would not be here where I am today, here with all of you, if it were not for these people. I tell you these things because I want you all to know that it's never just one person that makes it possible for a person to attend school and achieve the needed educational requirements for career advancement. It literally takes a village. Students, husbands, wives, and partners, life partners, children, sisters and brothers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends, and of course the administrative staff of supporting facilities. We all make it happen. So tonight I want us all to take a moment to offer a round of applause to all persons present and those who may be watching live who have in some way influenced and helped these students along their path to this day. CNAs are often overlooked and undervalued. This program at Avamere Court, here in Kaiser and in my class, I want students to know their worth and their value. I want my students to realize the importance of their contributions and how much their communities will benefit from their work. If there's only one person in the world that knows the kind of work that goes into becoming a CNA, I want them to know it was me. Because of this, I wanted these students to experience a penny for, just want to make sure I'm on the right page. For any one of you that's graduated, attended, or participated in a nursing graduation ceremony, you can understand the significance of a pinning ceremony. When I came to this program last year, I made a point to ensure that we recognize the accomplishments of the students. Many students work full-time, care for children, are single parents, are caregivers to family members, are single-handedly supporting a family, all while attending school and clinical and masterfully pulling it off. The recognition for this sort of accomplishment cannot be too big. The pinning is a turning point in the lives of these 6 graduate nursing assistants. It symbolizes a turning point, a commitment in the hearts and minds of those who receive the pin. Even if this is the only night you wear it, know this pin symbolizes your impending entry into the noblest and most respected profession in the world. I sincerely hope you are all as proud of your accomplishments as I am. I would like to recognize everybody individually now. This is the 8th class I've worked with here at Avamere Court, and I must say that every day I'm finding myself more grateful for the chance to do so and to have had the opportunity. The nursing assistant class you're about to recognize has worked hard to get to this point since January 17th. They've reviewed and studied over 50 chapters of materials. They've taken 14 daily quizzes. They're all traumatized. They endured hundreds and hundreds of PowerPoints and my more boring than not short stories of nursing application. They've taken 3 tests and a final, endured multiple mock skills tests, and my endless checks and rechecks of conversions. They have successfully passed them to the standards required to the Oregon State Board of Nursing. And to top it all off, they've manipulated every imaginable body part on the classroom mannequin, whom we fondly refer to as Terry. They then went to the floor and over time dedicated over 75 hours each of their personal time, sacrificing their families, their personal lives, their jobs and commitments, and their sanity to complete the amount of hours required by the Oregon State Board of Nursing to demonstrate competence and skill at the nursing assistant level. I can attest personally to the difficulty and frustration one experiences going through the classroom and lab experience for a nursing career. These students have practiced and repracticed skills, have endured the funny looks they invariably get when retaking a vital or practicing a skill under the scrutiny of not only me, but the patients, their families, and staff members. They've overcome their fears, and sometimes mine, of performance and judgment. They've grown so much since day 1 of this class. I was lucky to have been able to teach them. It was a joy to be with them, and thanks to them, I looked forward to each day in both the classroom and on the floor. So I'm going to call up each of these students, these future Oregon State Board of Nursing certified nursing assistants, these future leaders in care, these human beings that give so much of their time and heart to the patients here and now and in their futures. I'm going to ask that as each student is called that they come up to accept their award and that they remain seated here until all the students are together. Now, before I introduce each student, I'm going to read a quote from someone. These people influenced our ways of thinking about nursing, life, philosophy, and love. They've remained in our hearts, including mine, long after their departure from this earth. One can only hope they have the care of individuals such as this nursing assistant class to care for them in their final hours. In nursing school, we were prohibited from posting anything on social media related to our classes. So one of our peers developed a Facebook page under the pseudonym of Florence Nightingale. She posted notes, tips, and tricks. Anything that she found was helpful to her in nursing school. She's one of my cohort and is a well-respected nurse practicing in South Carolina. That is nursing. She's sharing her knowledge, educating where she can, and setting an example. She shines that light for others to follow. How very little can be done under the spirit of fear. Florence Nightingale. Marissa Griffith.
Oh my gosh.
That would be a non-compliant student.
No.
This man was an American short story writer. He was an essayist, a biographer, historian, and a diplomat of the early 19th century. These words remind me of the beauty of not only birth, but of death. Caring for the elderly when they can no longer do so for themselves is a passion that holds a special place in the nursing community. Bravery cries too. There's a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love. Washington Irving. Alice Gidenko.
Not right now.
Alice. This person was an American poet, a singer, a memoirist, and civil rights activist, and one of my favorite authors of all time. Her writings have put my thoughts into print, and I often wondered if we would have been friends were we to have ever been neighbors. They may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Abigail Mason. That's right, it's Mama. That for Mama. This woman was an Albanian Indian Roman Catholic nun. I probably just gave it away. Anybody over the age of 30. And she was a missionary. She dedicated her life to those in need and set the example for selflessness. It takes a lot of heart to care for so many, and recognition does not come in our lifetime, but I don't think this kind of dedication goes unnoticed. And she said, it's not how much you do, but how much love you put in the doing. Mother Teresa. Mariana Rojas. This man was an American essayist, a lecturer, philosopher, and poet who lived in the 1800s. His quote rings very true for me. I firmly believe that our past does not dictate our future. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Lisa Marchand. This one is almost immediately recognizable upon describing him. He's one of my all-time favorite childhood characters, and I was nicknamed after him. I often have to stop and think about what he says here, because sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. You're braver than you believe, and stronger and smarter than you think. Winnie the Pooh, sorry. Heather Wilson. Don't do it. Okay, here we go. Don't do it.
You already did it.
I already did it. Busted. Okay. All right. Congratulations. So, may you always let your heart guide your thoughts and your hands. Congratulations, guys. And we have one more thing. So here we have Abby Mason. She's expecting, and we have a little surprise for her.
Where's it go? Do you want help?
We're gonna go ahead and turn off the live feed though. We're done. Bye guys. Thanks for tuning in. Can't turn it off. Don't know how to do it. There we go.